5 creepy things bodies can do after death. The period soon after death can seem like a strange thing. During this time, the body undergoes various changes, shifting from living to being completely dead. While some of these changes, such as stiffening and changing color, are seen on crime TV shows, others seem a bit far-fetched for even the human body. Top 5 ways to dispose of your body after death. Still, the things corpses can do are shocking and a bit creepy. From giving birth to an awareness that it's dead, the changes that occur in the body after death seem almost too unrealistic to be true. 5. Self-digestion. After death, the body begins to decompose. It goes through a process in which it begins to digest itself, yes, essentially feeding on itself to aid in decomposition, through a process called autolysis. We still know very little about human decay, but the growth of forensic research facilities, or body farms, together with the availability and ever-decreasing cost of techniques such as DNA sequencing, now enables researchers to study the process in ways that were not possible just a few years ago. Soon after the heart stops beating, cells become deprived of oxygen, and their acidity increases, as the toxic byproducts of chemical reactions begin to accumulate inside them. Enzymes start to digest cell membranes, and then leak out as the cells break down. This usually starts in the liver, which is enriched in enzymes, and in the brain, which has high water content. Eventually, though, all other tissues and organs begin to break down in this way. Damaged blood cells spill out of broken vessels, and aided by gravity, settle in the capillaries and small veins, discoloring the skin. This is when the bacteria in our bodies come into play. Our bodies host huge numbers of bacteria, with by far most residing in the gut, which is home to trillions of bacteria of hundreds or perhaps thousands of different species. Most internal organs are devoid of these microbes when we are alive. Soon after death, however, the immune system stops working, leaving them to spread throughout the body freely. This usually begins in the gut, at the junction between the small and large intestines. Left unchecked, our gut bacteria begin to digest the intestines, and then the surrounding tissues from the inside out, using the chemical cocktail that leaks out of damaged cells as a food source. Fourth one is explode. Tall tales have been told of bodies exploding from the inside out. Though this may seem a bit far-fetched, it isn't too far from the truth in a way. Spontaneous human combustion has been an explanation for many of these tales, but the reality is a bit different. When a body dies, its temperature usually drops. In some cases, the temperature actually increases, which is referred to as post-mortem hypothermia. This continuous increase in temperature can be caused by different things, from drugs to trauma to even signals in the brain before death. The body can continue to grow hotter, but the likelihood of actual combustion is low, as the temperature will begin to drop back down as the corpse goes into the regular stages of decomposition. Still, there have been cases of bodies exploding, although spontaneous human combustion isn't responsible. What happens is that, as a body begins to break down after death, the gases inside have to escape. The gases' continuous buildup can lead to an explosion of bodily remains. This rarely happens. In January 2013, however, a corpse did explode in a mausoleum in Melbourne. Those visiting the mausoleum bore witness to the event and the smell. The experience was enough to traumatize witnesses and ensure that better precautions were taken to avoid another such incident. Third is, appear aroused. Responding to certain stimuli when alive is natural and occurs even in the most inopportune of times. While it can be embarrassing if the moment isn't right, it's nothing near as creepy as a dead man getting an erection. Once the heart stops beating, all of the blood that was previously circulating begins to trickle down and collect at the lowest part of the body available. In some cases, depending on how the man died, such as those who have suffered a spinal injury or passed face down, this can be in the genital area. The continuous pooling of blood is only natural, as is the reaction it causes in the dead man's penis, referred to as priapism. While this is uncommonly seen now, it can also happen with women. When a woman dies similarly, her labia can become enlarged, and her clitoris can swell. Second one is orgasm. Even though this sounds a lot like necrophilia, it thankfully isn't. In corpses that no longer have oxygen pumping through them, this is unlikely ever to happen, but for those that are clinically dead, but being used as beating heart cadavers, or as organ donors, the possibility of the body having an orgasm is there. This isn't done on purpose. Doctors who work with these bodies sometimes have to trigger parts of the spine electrically. In some cases, when the sacral nerve root in the base of one's spine is stimulated, it causes a reflexive reaction by the autonomic nervous system. Again, this only works because the bodies are still receiving oxygen, despite being clinically dead. When the doctors trigger this part of the spine, the reflex it causes in the system can result in an orgasm. However, because the body is clinically dead, no actual enjoyment or pleasure comes from this experience. The brain is no longer sending out signals, and while the body may react, it's only doing so out of pure reflex. First is, know they are dead. There are countless stories of those who have come back from near-death experiences, and have given their interpretation of what they believe the afterlife is like. While many are left to wonder what happens after we die, scientists may have at least part of an answer. Scientists have found that after death, the brain can retain some semblance of awareness. This means that after one has passed, they might actually be aware they are dead. In a study of 2,060 cardiac arrest survivors who had been declared legally dead, meaning that they no longer had identifiable brain function, around 40% claimed they were still aware of their surroundings and conversations going on around them. The period doesn't seem to last long, research has found. As death is a process, the time between oxygen leaving the system and the brain sending its last signals can leave room for awareness. Scientists believe that there is an average time of 10 to 20 seconds of awareness after death. A severed head, for example, still produces EEG waves even after death, though a portion of these seconds have led scientists to believe the brain enters a stage of unconsciousness. Still, the idea that a body may be aware that it's dead is nothing short of unsettling.